How do you define what it means to be well? Hi guys, my name is Liz. I'm an epidemiologist, a plant-based nutrition specialist, and a health coach. And if you watched my recent video on what health and wellness means to you, then maybe you've already thought about what that does mean to you, what it means to be well. But in this video, I wanted to talk about the dimensions of wellness. It's a tool that you often hear within the health and wellness space, and sometimes people will refer to them as the 7 dimensions of wellness, the 8 dimensions of wellness, or the wellness wheel. What this is another way to look at what it means to be well. Your physical health is one key part of what it means to be well, but it's not the whole thing. And I think that that is important for people to understand, so that way they can consider the other areas of their life in which they might need to spend some time focusing on in order to have a more holistic view and a more holistic wellness within their own life. As a health coach, I encourage my clients to take a broader perspective when they contemplate what well means for them and what wellness looks like in their life. Wellness is multidimensional and multifaceted. It's not just about your physical wellness, like whether or not you are experiencing any health conditions or injuries, but it goes far beyond that. When I am first meeting with a client, I like for them to spend a bit of time reflecting on their own wellness and to contemplate what areas within their life, how they would rate their wellness in each of those areas. So I want to take a moment to go through with you some of these different dimensions of wellness. And I want you, as we are going through them, to think about in your own life how you would rate your wellness within that area. Maybe grab a piece of paper and mark down a number on a scale of 1 to 10, how you would rate your wellness in that particular area. So I've arranged these areas of wellness sort of like Maslow's hierarchy of needs. If you're familiar with Maslow's hierarchy of needs, it's a pyramid that essentially says that you meet your base needs first. And then you can move up that pyramid of different needs that you're able to address when you have met the needs on the lower tier levels. So I think of your physical health as sort of that first level in Maslow's hierarchy of needs when we're talking about the dimensions of wellness. So for most people, physical wellness is pretty intuitive. It's basically the experience of your own physical body. Are you injured? Are you experiencing some sort of health condition that is inhibiting your overall physical wellness? The next dimension of wellness would be environmental wellness. That is essentially the space that you inhabit. Are you living in a space that feels safe and comfortable, where you feel secure and you feel like you have a bit of sanctuary, where you feel like you can thrive? Or maybe are you living in a space that doesn't feel very comfortable? Maybe it is too crowded or not very clean. Think for a moment about the space in which you inhabit and how that influences you. Next would be emotional wellness. How are you feeling in an emotional space when you listen to your own thoughts? What do they sound like? Do you speak to yourself with kindness and love? Or the words that you say to yourself, unkind or not particularly loving? The next dimension of wellness would be intellectual wellness. Are you participating in activities or hobbies that help you to indulge in your curious and creative and intellectual side of yourself? Are you learning new skills? Are you picking up a book from time to time to learn about something new or to indulge your creative or your intellectual side? Are you taking a class that maybe helps you to engage with the hobbies or the activities that you enjoy? All of these are intellectual pursuits because humans are by nature curious creatures that want to learn new things and want to experience the world in new and different and in creative ways. Next would be social wellness. This one is pretty intuitive for most people too. So social wellness would include the wellness of your relationships. Do you have a wealth of relationships in your life, like family members or friends or colleagues, people that you have strong relationships with that you can turn to when you need some support, or that you can just spend an evening hanging out with and enjoying yourself with? Do you have people in your life that provide you solid companionship? Next would be occupational wellness. This can be, but it's not exclusive to the job that you spend your time doing on a day-to-day basis. Occupational wellness is more about what occupies your time. Do you feel a sense of meaning and purpose in the way that the thing that occupies the majority of your time? So if you are working a job outside of your home or even in your home, is that something that provides you meaning and that helps you feel like you're living a fulfilling life? Do you engage in activities that give you a sense of purpose and meaning in your life? There's this concept that I've heard of that I believe comes from Japan. It's called ikigai. Essentially, ikigai is your sense of purpose. That is what gives meaning to your life. It doesn't have to be at all what you do for a living, but it is that thing that wakes up your passion and that makes you feel connected to the world in a more meaningful way. The next dimension would be financial wellness. Again, this one is pretty intuitive. Do you have enough money that you are able to meet your basic needs and beyond basic needs? Do you have enough money or income that you are able to enjoy your life in a way where you are free of financial stress? And the last one would be spiritual wellness. For me, spiritual wellness is not so much about religion or spirituality, although it can certainly be that for a lot of people. If you practice a religion that provides you a great sense of meaning and purpose in your life, then that might be where you find your spiritual wellness. Or perhaps you don't practice a religion, but maybe you are just a person who feels connected, deeply connected to life itself. That's how I feel when I think about spiritual wellness. I think about my connection to this world, just being one more being that is existing on this planet, and how I fit into the greater scheme of life itself. Maybe that's a little bit too complex of an idea. I can be a little hippy-dippy in times, but for me, that is spiritual wellness. It is feeling connected to a greater purpose and to a greater existence and belonging than just my own life. So those were 8 dimensions of wellness. As I said, you might find other versions where there are more or less dimensions of wellness, and sometimes it shows up as a wellness wheel. But this is a great way to start thinking about the areas of wellness in your own life. And this is why I bring this up with my clients and have them look at this when we meet for the very first time, because everyone has their areas of strength and their areas of challenge. So when you look at those dimensions of wellness, look at those areas where you have rated them really highly, whatever that might be. And you can take a moment to appreciate the strength that you have in your connections with your family or your connections with your community, whatever that might be. And then take a look at those areas that you rated lower, whatever those might be, whether that is financial or maybe it is physical, and contemplate, okay, so I rated these areas lower. What is it that is draining me in these areas? Why did I not rate them as highly as those areas that ended up being strengths? And this is a really important insight for you. This is going to be something that you can use as a tool to help you understand where in your life you have room for growth and room for improvement. And it is going to be a great way for you to start thinking about where you might have room for change. In my next video, I'm going to walk you through another important tool that I use in my early sessions with my own clients. It's called the Wellness Vision, and it is a really great practice to help you figure out what your vision for your own life looks like. So stick around, find that next video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye, guys.